I didn't know that, my rights were new. Oh, no. We got.
The meeting is yours.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Good evening, folks. I certainly want to welcome you to the Vinton Town Council meeting for this Tuesday, October 21st. And we will start the meeting by the roll call. If you would, please.
All right, Councilmember Lyles,
Here.
Councilmember McCarty,
Here.
Councilmember Stovall,
Here.
Vice Mayor Mullins, here, Mayor Gross.
Here. Obviously, we have a quorum. Folks, here in the town of Vinton, we use a moment of silence. How appropriate. A moment of silence so that you can pray or meditate as you see fit. I'll be praying, and I certainly hope you will be. So I would ask you to keep this country, this community, and certainly this council meeting in your thoughts and prayers. And I'll ask you to stand for that in just a second. While we're standing, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance, which is usually handled by Councilmember Lyles. Are you going to do that this evening? Yes, sir. All right. So if you would stand for those items, please. Please face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. All right, thank you for that. All right, we will start the evening off with a list of community events and announcements. If you would, Councilmember McCarty.
Yes. October 28th, which is a Tuesday from 3 until 6 p.m. We'll have the downtown trick or treating. November the 1st from 8:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. the Veterans Day Ruck. November the 4th, the town offices will be closed in observance to Election Day. November the 6th at 10 a.m., the Field of Honor dedication ceremony will be held. We encourage folks to visit one of the many restaurants, entertainment venues in our community. For more information, it can be found on the venue's website. And for more information on everything happening in Vinton, please visit the In Vinton Facebook page, and don't forget to like and share.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate that. With that, we'll move over to council activities, and our vice mayor usually does that.
Yes.
Mayor Muller.
Yes, sir. We have a bit of a list because we kind of forgot last time, but it's okay. So going back to September 23rd, Mayor Gross, Vice Mayor Mullins, Councilmember McCarty attended the ribbon cutting ceremony at Cleveland Commons. September 25th, Mayor Gross attended the Roanoke Valley Allegheny Regional Commission Board meeting. September 25th, Councilmember Stovall met with Virginia Municipal League about becoming a board member, which, spoiler alert, he got on there. October 2nd, Vice Mayor Mullins attended RVTV committee. October 8th, Mayor Gross attended the Roanoke Valley Allegheny Regional Commission meeting. October 11th, Mayor Gross attended the Vinton Fall Festival, as well as the Mayor's Institute hosted by the Virginia Municipal League. October 12th through 14th, Mayor Gross, Vice Mayor Mullins, and Councilmember Stovall attended the Virginia Municipal League annual conference. October 15th, Councilmember Lyles and Councilmember McCarty attended the Community Development Committee meeting. October 17th, Mayor Gross attended the Western Virginia Industrial Facilities Authority meeting. Oh, that's a new one.
Uh-huh.
And today, Mayor Gross, myself, and Councilmember McCarty attended the Virginia Breast Cancer Foundation Power of Pink luncheon.
Wow, thank you. They've been busy beavers, haven't
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Next item is a request to postpone or change the agenda.
No, sir.
Hearing no requests, we'll move on to the consent agenda. And tonight that contains just a couple of items, the minutes of the public hearing of October 7th, and also the approval of our regular schedule for 2026. Are there any changes or additions to the consent agenda? Hearing none, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion by Councilmember Lyles, second by Councilmember McCarty. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same signs. Don't see any awards or presentations tonight. What's up with that? This is an award-winning staff. They are always winning awards. Since there are none, we will move on to the section for citizens' comments and petitions. And this section is reserved for comments and questions that are not listed on the agenda. And I understand that we have more than 5 people signed up to speak tonight. So in keeping with our written policy, the time limit will be 2 minutes each. So ma'am, if you would read the list of folks that are signed up, please.
Okay. We will start with Miss Kay Amos. And if you will, please repeat your name and your address. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kay Amos. My address is 8424 Bellhaven Road, Roanoke, Virginia, 24019. Good evening, council members. I'm here to address the commercial vehicle definition in the Vinton zoning ordinance and the impact it is having on our business and staff personnel. Coiner Springs Service Center is a contracted public safety tower for Roanoke City and Roanoke County. We are a contracted VDOT trips provider, and we tow for the Virginia State Police. Our tow truck operators must be available for emergency calls 24 hours a day, 7 days a week per our contracts. According to our contracts, we have set response times to arrive on scene for accidents. These response times are critical and are in place to mitigate secondary accidents and be able to expedite tow trucks to the scenes of entrapments and assist in freeing up emergency response resources as quickly as possible. If we do not adhere to these response times, we could lose our contracts. This would not only hurt our employees' livelihood, but would be detrimental to our business's existence and the interest of public safety. Public safety towing is the majority of our calls. Breakdown calls are only a small portion of what we do. If we were only towing for breakdowns, this would not be an issue. We would gladly find a commercial lot to park our trucks. Our tow trucks have diesel motors and require access to power in the winter to plug in the engine heater. Our drivers park in their own driveways, not on the street. They are not impeding traffic or being a nuisance to the neighborhoods. The City of Roanoke Code, Section 20-71, has an exemption for tow trucks on the city contract to be allowed to park in a residential area. All towing companies that are contracted for public safety towing, a lot that are present here tonight, are very concerned about the impact this ordinance could have on their business obligations to their contracts. Not all public contract towers have employees that live in Vinton.
Sorry, ma'am. We'll allow that, sure.
Not all public safety contract towers have employees that live in Vinton, but that could change at any moment. We are asking the town of Vinton to make special consideration for tow truck drivers on a public safety contract to be allowed to park their commercial vehicle on their private property in order to respond to calls within the allowed critical response times in the contract. We all thank you for your time and consideration and hope we can come together on a solution for the sake of public safety.
Thank you, ma'am.
And we do have copies of our contracts if anybody's interested.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we will have Mr. Gregory St. Clair.
Good evening. My name is Gregory St. Clair. I reside at 1085 Bolchak Boulevard, Roanoke, Virginia 24019. I'm a 22-year employee of Wood Service Centers here in the town of Vinton, and I've come to you ask if the town would amend or make exception to commercial tow trucks parked in residential addresses for the purpose of responding to police and fire emergencies, as we are contracted on emergency rotation list. I'm not asking for everyday towers to do everyday towing out of their homes. just the ones that do respond to emergency fire and rescue needs and police needs to clear accidents. As the previous speaker said, most of us are on a time limit. PD does like for us to respond within 20 minutes, whether we're in Roanoke County, Roanoke City, town event, and et cetera, depending where our employees live and reside and where the truck is at their home, depends on the nature of their response times. Sometimes they get there less than 10 minutes. Sometimes they push the envelope to get there at 20, but they all lawfully respond following all traffic rules and regulations that's required by a private motorist. We have no special allocations to run red lights, run sirens, lights, etc. So following the laws of the road and to respond after hours, at night, 2 in the morning. Our drivers are usually like to be at home in bed and have the trucks with them to be able to meet these demands when we're called from 911 dispatch. So what I'm asking is if you would make an exception for commercial tow trucks to park at residential addresses if those towers and operators are on police rotation, emergency towing only. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Next, we will have Mr. Alan Wood.
Thank you, members of council. Alan Wood, Woods Service Center. Been in business in this town for almost 70 years, third generation to take over. Been towing for 50 years in this town. And I'm going to just mirror the comments of the two prior to me about consideration for the amendment to be able to park these commercial tow trucks. We're not talking about heavy-duty tow trucks here. We're talking about light-duty, 1-ton, more smaller vehicles that are able to primarily fit in driveways. Drivers have to respond for their homes and our business. You know, we don't have the revenues to support shift work. The percentage of calls we do not get paid for does not grant for that. So you have a lot of towing and recovery operators that live in this town. I don't know if you realize that or not. But Roanoke City, as mentioned, has already adopted this code. The National Move Over Law also recognizes tow trucks as emergency vehicles. Responding in a personal vehicle can take precious time redirecting to our shops, which causes queues. And I don't know if you just service in this town. I've served this for a long time, and 15 minutes out of the way can make a heck of a mess at Hardy and Bypass or Hardy and Washington. People late for childcare, people late for appointments, people are late to school, when all we can do is you know, shave 8 to 10 minutes off of that on just where we're parking a tow truck. Like I say, you know, we have strict response times, 18 to 20 minutes to get on scene. Once we get to about that 18-minute mark, dispatchers and police officers, rightfully so, are asking what our ETAs are, which puts undue pressures on our drivers to expedite when the laws don't really allow us to expedite. So I'm just asking for some basic common consideration in this, and I support any support that you could give us on this, please. Thank you for your time.
Mr. Robert Young.
Not going to go over what they did, but I do want to talk about life and limb. A lot of times people don't realize us getting there faster. Somebody's trapped in those vehicles. We have to lift them to get them out, and secondary accidents. The faster you get accidents cleaned up, it stops people from getting hurt in secondary accidents. A few years ago, my son responded in Roanoke City to Melrose and Peters Creek. They had 2 gentlemen trapped under the dash of a car at a guardrail, and they'd already gave up. They called him. They were able to, 2 of my drivers were able to get there quick because they were able to get there from their home, saved their lives. Makes a lot of difference. There's a lot of people's lives. It could be your brother, your child, my grandchild. You know, we want to save people, and being there fast makes all the difference in the world. Seconds count when somebody's trapped, and being able to respond fast is very important. And there's no towing company in this area in 100, 200 miles that has enough staff to respond 24 hours a day. We all have to come from our house at nights, weekends, and we have staff over 100 miles away, and you know, it's no different. You know, maybe in Richmond or DC, but nowhere else in the state.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Tim Meadows.
Timothy Meadows, 2741 Highland Road in Roanoke County. I'm also a tour in the town of Benton. And the dispatchers are always on you, like they say. Get there quick as you can. And we got a great fire department, but sometimes they require on us, just like Robert said. There's a bunch of instances where we have to go out there and either just stabilize a car or lift another car off a car in, minutes. If we have to park, I got a driver that lives in Benton, and he's one that's had a complaint on him. If it takes him, if he's got to drive 15 minutes to our lot to get the truck and then get back there, minutes count. So please try to adopt something or consider what we're all saying here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay.
That's everyone, sir.
Okay. Any other comments? All right. Thank you very much. We have certainly heard your request, and of course, I guess technically we don't really have to respond in that this is a session for you to bring your requests and your comments to us. But Council, you have any comments that you want to make? I have some I would like to make, but it's.
I'd like to ask a question, just to get more information. How many towing services in the town are on police rotation? Everyone or? Okay, because I did, yeah, okay. And how many drivers live in the town limits? I mean, okay.
Realistically, one.
Within the town, like the town's 3.2 square miles.
Necessarily the businesses being here, but the drivers reside.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we meant.
Right.
Like living inside the town.
Specifics, say minimum 80.
So in the town, and she's talking about in the 3.2 square miles of the town,
Like,
not in the county or not in Bedford, but in the town.
oh, well. A lot of,
That's not the only specifics.
Yeah, I just was curious because to be honest, it's not something I've thought about. Now that you're saying, yes, we need fast response times, and I understand that because I've used you, Alan, before and had accidents and it happens. So, and I understand quick response time.
And I think, and I'm sorry to speak out of turn here, but I think the key is that all of our localities work in reciprocity here, so we're helping each other.
Right, yes.
The benefit of all citizens.
Yeah. I was just thinking, I was just asking how many drivers, just thinking where the complaints came from, as far as that.
I'm good.
Okay.
Jeff just advised me, he thinks somewhere around 6 or 7, so I just wanted to.
okay, yeah, I'm just curious.
Okay, yeah.
No change is an employee issue.
Right.
Yeah. You guys want me to go first? I really appreciate your profession, and I've heard your request tonight, and I think I understand the situation, and as I say, I certainly agree that the response time is an issue, and there is a problem. But I got to be straight up honest about it. I don't think changing our ordinance is the way to fix the problem that you have. As I say, I appreciate you folks and the hard work you do, the good work you do. But I think it's incumbent upon us, or I can only speak for myself at this point, to protect our neighborhoods too. And I do think that commercial vehicles, whether they're tow trucks or whatever, are not. Well, I just think it would probably decrease the safety of our neighborhoods, and that's my major concern. I think it's the job of this council to protect our neighborhoods. That means keeping them safe, clean, attractive, and also to protect the investment that our citizens have made in their personal property. As I say, I understand your problem, and if there's a way that we can help through commercial lots or something like that, I would be open to that. But I have to tell you, I'm a pretty solid no on allowing commercial vehicles and tow trucks in a residential area. So just wanted you to know where I stood on that. Council, any other comments?
Yeah, I mean, I would, so I understand the police rotation. If it's Corner Springs rotate and that driver has a truck and that driver that's on call for Corner Springs lives in Salem and he's the one that gets the call, isn't it going to take him 20 minutes to get to Benton anyway? Or like, how does that work? Like, so is everybody on call all night? So everybody in police rotation, if your driver's in Salem that has the tow truck at home, or does that mean all the tow truck drivers take their trucks home? How does that all?
Most tow companies putting up after more than one driver. Usually our dispatchers in the closest truck to the Washington or the city that they live in. So I might have a driver live in Port County. I might have one that lives right here east.
Right. Okay.
If I get a call on Benton, he's going first. If I get a call, Windsor.
Gotcha. Okay.
Port County guys.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was just one person on call or how that works. So
You can't operate efficiently with one man only. You usually have one or one of the backup. The things to do minimum at best. And that's kind of how we have to play it in dispatch. All comes in, got to know where it's at, send the closest truck we can get there. Because in our minds, we have a 20-minute response. That's why you don't employ, or Woods goes, I can't employ a driver that lives in Zoomsville. I can't employ a driver that lives in Elliston. I have to live within the valley and give for our commitments that we have on Bourbon City, Frederick County, and the town of Benton, which is state police. That's how we operate. Most, I can speak for most people, that's how they operate as well.
Is Miss Amos still here? Do you have those contracts with you? Can you leave them, bring them over here, please, and hand them to the clerk for me? Or I just need one, but I mean, if you want to leave, you got one for each one of us.
thanks
Thank
for
you.
explaining that. I didn't know how all that works. I appreciate it.
Would it be possible for our police representative to kind of speak on the behalf of the importance of response times? The difference in 2 minutes versus another 12 to 15 minutes?
So, Mr. Mayor, we do require the tow trucks to respond within 20 minutes. Obviously, that's for safety issues, also to get the roadways cleared up. To my understanding, I believe there's only 2 that are on the rotation for the Vinton Police Department. Doesn't mean that they're not under the rotation for other police departments within the valley. We have 2, which is Woods and Request, and we do require 20 minutes. We usually give a little bit of leeway, but if it becomes a repetitive problem, then we would reach out to the company.
And is Request in the town of Benton? I know Woods is, of course.
Yes, sir.
They are. Their company, their business is in the town.
That is correct.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments?
Well, I had heard that they don't have, whatever signal, that triggers the signal. Yeah. I mean, would that be something that could be considered to get them there?
That would be, a law would have to change to allow them to do that.
Okay.
They have yellow lights, but that's just merely to keep them safe when they're out there working on the road, working accidents, and to keep their employees safe.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with their response time.
Okay. Just a question.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, well, folks, like I said, I certainly appreciate your comments. But I don't think there will be any action taken on this item tonight. Thanks.
So we could do we used to get a fire.
All right.
didn't understand.
Oh, the one? Okay, with that, folks, we'll move on to the next item, which is items requiring action. And Jamie, I think is up next for this item.
Jamie, come on down.
Come on
I
down.
wanted to stay for my
Don't be offended.
presentation. I'll try not.
It was us.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council, good evening. As you're aware, we rebid the War Memorial renovation project. The invitation for that went out on the 15th of September. Then on the 23rd, we had a mandatory pre-bid meeting, which we had good response. We had 9 contractors come to that meeting interested in putting in a bid for the project. The bids were due today at 2 o'clock, so we opened those up today in this room. We had, like the first go around, we had really good interest and participation. We had 6 contractors submit bids for the projects. We're very excited about that. With that being said, we do have a resolution tonight requiring your action with the bids that were submitted. Town engineer, town staff, town manager reviewed those bids earlier today before the meeting, and we did come to the conclusion that we have a responsive and responsible low bidder. RL Price was the low bidder, and they came in with a bid of $3,506,000. So it is the town's project engineer, as well as town manager and myself's recommendation that council approve this resolution or adopt the resolution to award a contract to RL Price. And so we can get started on this exciting project. But with that, I'm happy to listen to any comments or answer any questions you might have.
Okay. Thank you, Jamie. Council, you have any questions or comments?
Great job.
Exciting.
I mean, from, where we were, then to, the things we had to go through, then to rebid it. I mean, I think you did a good job.
Thank you.
Very good job. We certainly appreciate all the hard work, Jamie, you've put in on this with a lot of staff members.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
It's a very exciting project, that's for sure. So
Yep.
I'm very excited. Any other comments or questions? Okay. In that case, council, you have before you a resolution that would approve the construction contract as Jamie has outlined here this evening.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember McCarty, second by Councilmember Lyles. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Lyles?
Yes.
Councilmember McCarty?
Yes.
Councilmember Stovall?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mullins?
Yes.
Mayor Gross?
Yes. All right.
Thank you.
Exciting. Thank you very much. All right.
Mayor Gross, if I just make a couple of comments on that, I appreciate council support and all the staff's work, even the assistance from Jeremy to help with the rebidding process. But I do want to highlight on the spreadsheet that you have at your desk, the low bid that you awarded tonight to RL Price is highlighted there as the total with both alternates. However, if you kind of reflect in the middle of that page, you'll see some additional items. Those are the items that we didn't include in the bid package that we'll be handling ourselves, such as the ballroom furniture, office furniture, some of the landscaping that's outside of the contract with RL Price. So we are estimating that to be about 507. So the actual number that we'll be seeking support for either use of our fund balance or seeking some additional loan capacity to be able to do that. The total is just a smidge over $4 million. That's highlighted there at the bottom. So that's what the total project's going to cost. The bid price to RL Price is 3.5. Just wanted to explain that nuance.
Okay. So our resolution does include all that funding?
Your resolution is just the contract for our price. What we'll do as staff, now that you've authorized the contract, we'll prepare some scenarios for you of use of our reserve funds versus use of loan, debt capacity to pay the total bill. So we'll come before council. We'll probably go through finance committee first and then eventually to council to get authorization for the total amount that we need for the project. So but I did want to explain the difference of what you authorized tonight with the contract versus the total cost of the renovation.
Okay. Sorry, I wasn't concentrating. Gotcha.
No problem. That's why I wanted to just make a clarification. Thank you for your time.
Any other questions?
I hope the office furniture is Herman Miller.
I'm sorry?
I hope the office furniture is Herman Miller for $75,000. It's a brand.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not following. I'm dense.
It's a brand.
Okay. I'm dense. I'm sorry.
Furniture, don't you? Okay. Well, with that, we will.
You're good.
We'll move on. Congratulations, Jamie, and congratulations to R.L. Price. We look forward to working with them. Certainly a reputable firm. All right, then we'll move to the reports for committees. If there are no other comments, and we'll start with the Community Development Committee. Here he is. Nathan.
There's Nathan.
We should do like on Cheers. Nathan.
Yeah.
So we got a pretty full agenda for the last CDC meeting.
Yeah.
But I'll try to cover it briefly. The first thing we talked about were economic development projects. First being Gish Mill. If you've driven down Gus Nix, you can see all the work going on. So the developer who owns the property now is working with Cornerstone Construction out of Christiansburg to complete the rest of the work on the property. The reason the water line is mentioned is because the current capacity of the design does require extra necessary water flow. So the town and the water authority are going to be working on supplying that water flow by the time the building is ready to be occupied. But the water line project will not only serve Gish Mill, it'll serve that entire quadrant of town that is currently disconnected from the rest of the water authority system. Or not entirely, but it's disconnected from where it would be adjacent across the creek. It kind of dead ends right at Gus Nix before you hit the city bridge. And that water line will also serve the neighborhoods along beside the Billy Bird Apartments. And we also are looking at a grant through CDBG that would also help with some of the cost sharing, or at least the grant funds would help buy down some of the costs of that water line replacement project. And also it would help with other economic development projects like the Billy Bird Annex and Shalane's. So it's not just going to benefit Gish Mill, it'll benefit the entire area of town. We discussed 7 Walnut Avenue and just updates on the potential for what the tenant relationship will look like in the future for that space. Briefly with the current tenant holder or the current leaseholder, and the way that would be set up, which is adjacent to the currently owned town parking lot, or currently town leased parking lot where the town completed parking lot improvements. And also, we talked about national chain interest and Jill Loop's efforts in talking to national chains and other economic development partners on this vacant properties or properties in the town that could possibly have future restaurants or retail stores or other opportunities throughout the town. Moving on to community development, we talked about the multi-generational park, and right now it's scheduled to hopefully be completed by end of November, weather contingent. But that's the park's moving along very smoothly. If you've seen the videos, if you've gone up there, you can see everything's going in. We talked about the warm water renovation status, which now we know with the bid opening tonight, so we can celebrate that. The Wolf Creek Greenway restroom facility is now in place. There's some final electrical work that needs to be completed, and also the site work for the sidewalks that still needs to be completed, but that bathroom has been installed. And additionally, the bathroom at the park has also been installed as well. Disc golf course also at the Wolf Creek Greenway. Pete and Anita met with a local disc golf partner, and they went and looked at Wolf Creek Greenway for the possibility of it being a nice beginner disc golf course. Obviously, with the town, we want it to be aesthetic and be professionally done, but it's still in the beginning conceptual phase. But it is exciting to potentially have some passive recreation in the town, especially along the Greenway. And then Gearhart Park, where the former Gearhart Park skate park used to be, the county's relinquishing the lease that the Rex maintenance division was having, so we're going to be reutilizing that building, or what was a picnic shelter that's been renovated, and that space, the storage space for our departments, the town departments. And then most likely we'll depending on the structural integrity of that building, because like I said, it was a picnic shelter, and most likely we probably will not reuse that structure, but it's still, once again, conceptual, but it is nice to reclaim that space for town purposes. Gateway signage, this is an ongoing project that stemmed from that VBR process. You probably, if you've driven around the valley, you've seen those signs, but found that same schematic. The town is looking to upgrade our gateway signages on our main corridors and main gateways. So they cover the community development projects. Code enforcement discussion, we only mentioned the first item with inoperable vehicles and the town towing policy. And this has to do with code enforcement in general with inoperable vehicles. And based on that meeting, we're going to explore the possibility of looking into a voluntary towing program. So we have a lot of code enforcement cases, but Scott Stevenson, our code enforcement officer, does run into cases where individuals don't have the economic means, or they just need assistance with towing vehicles. And so the town code does give us the right to tow vehicles off property as an enforcement action. But we want to look at it to almost like a two-step approach, whereas first step, if someone wants to voluntarily tow their vehicle, we're looking into that program to see if it's a possibility. And this stems from Scott's diligent code enforcement efforts. Based on his estimations, we probably have over 1,000 inoperable vehicles throughout the town. So
1,000?
Correct. Based on his estimations, just
Wow.
since May, what he's been.
Wow. Wow.
And so we know it'll take time, and also we think 1,000 vehicles. A lot of these are going to be rectified through willing action. I mean, an inoperable vehicle could be your inspection stickers expired, your tags are out, you're using a farm user antique tag plate incorrectly. So a lot of these are not going to have to be towed. They're most likely just they get a letter and then they bring it back into compliance by getting it inspected or getting the car fixed.
Man, the towing company folks should have hung around for some good news.
One for every 8 people. Oh dear.
Here we go.
That includes motorcycles and
We're not going to tell y'all
trailers.
possibly, we got 1,000 cars, y'all.
They can call us Fat City.
And it'll definitely take time, and that includes motorcycles and trailers too. So it'll take time, but if we just try to, as a piecemeal over the years, we'll come up with an approach. But we think the voluntary system will work. And actually, it seems like some people just need that extra help. They want the vehicle off their property, but they actually just don't have the economic means, or they don't have the knowledge about the DMV process. So we'll assist them with that. And Scott's already been helping people with the DMV process and helping them get these. So we've yet to go to court for this year for code enforcement, which is saying a lot. I think it says a lot to Scott's working with people.
Yeah, if I could just comment on that. Scott's approach, this is the first time we've had dedicated staff. Scott came on February, March?
May.
Was it May? Okay, yeah. So first time in my time, and I think as far back as we can go, having dedicated staff to code enforcement. Previously, we've done it on a report basis. If a citizen or business owner notified us of a violation, we would inspect it. But now, Scott having dedicated staff hours, we respond to citizen complaints, but we also are actively out, proactively looking for, not violations of our ordinance. So, and I was very shocked by the 1,000 number that was floated out there too. But we actually went through an exercise in the CDC meeting, identifying several hot spots where there are, sometimes a couple of dozen vehicles in one property. And so when you look at it across the town, it's easy So then, okay, that's very likely, that's a conservative number to some degree. So anyways, I just wanted to point out the difference of, these cars have taken decades, these vehicles, decades to multiply into this level of inoperability. And so it's going to take maybe not equal amount of time, but it's going to take some time to make a dent back into this now that we've got, process and dedicated staff to take a look at that. So Nathan, I think Nathan's approach, we vetted this with a couple of our internal employees, and I think Nathan's approach can make a real good dent in the program, and not be, put the owner on the defense immediately. We want to clean up the town. This is a way that we can do it on a voluntary basis. I think we can make a real dent in this situation. So more to come on that. Nathan's doing a good job on it. I just wanted to provide that extra commentary.
Thank you.
And there is the second, there's the volunteer program, but obviously there's the second approach. If someone's continuing to be non-compliant or refuses, it wouldn't even require a code change. The code today says even without going to court, we could tow vehicles off properties. The town has historically never done that. So, but Jeremy, definitely will need your help with the volunteer program. And then transportation project updates. We discussed Route 24. Those are pedestrian improvements from PFG down West Virginia Avenue, then up South Pollard to Jefferson. VDOT's administering that project. It's an HSIP grant. And it's working in conjunction with the hotel as well. The hotel's all greatly going to change that intersection, but these are just pedestrian improvements, which are greatly needed in that area. There's no way to get north to south, and it's really unsafe for pedestrians to walk in that area. So, VDOT's working on that project, but it probably won't be till 2020, even 2027 that we actually advertise, or VDOT advertises the project for bid. So still a lot of work to be done on that. Same with Glade Creek Phase 3. We're still in the preliminary engineering phase. Aardvark's administering the project on behalf of the town, but the town's heavily involved, and we've sent letters out to all the property owners who will be getting their property surveyed as a part of that preliminary engineering work. East Roanoke River Greenway study. As you all know, that the preferred route from the county right now encompasses mostly Vinton. So just want to provide an update on that. That is the preferred route right now going forward based on the county's plan. If you want to see conceptuals of that route, it's north of the river and it goes south across the river before you hit Niagara Dam. But good to see that is now the preferred route that they would most likely be looking at when they start to move forward with the actual preliminary design work. And then finally, Vinton Police Department, they just discussed their the new task force position for traffic enforcement. And this is correct me if I'm wrong, Tim, but it's technically a state police position, but we're going to fund it. And this is going to be a dedicated person who's going to be doing things with education and heavier traffic enforcement and traffic education in the town.
And I'll comment on that. I've asked the chief and deputy chief to come before council in the near term future to actually explain the restructuring of the police department. So I think it's certainly doable to talk about it, but what I've asked the chief and deputy chief to do is provide the illustration of how the structure works, because there has been a little reshuffling. And with this overhire position dedicated toward traffic enforcement, I think this meets a lot of the needs that you've directed staff to address as far as speeding and some unsafe behaviors through some of the neighborhood roads. So this allows us to provide that dedicated staff to be able to be more responsive and get a handle on that. So the police department does an excellent job. But I think once we come back to council, we'll be able to explain that structure a little bit better in an illustration that'll be easier to digest. I couldn't quite grasp it until I saw the illustrations as well. So I know they were going to refine that, put some finishing touches on it, and it'll come before council likely before the end of the year.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks. And that's the report. Any comments or questions?
Yeah, I got a comment. This was the best meeting I've ever attended.
Wow.
And
you've attended some meetings.
Town council, this was the absolute best.
Wow.
I just wish you guys could have been there. Each one of these people that had to come up and report on what they were doing were beaming, and they were excited and talking about everything. And I mean, it was just amazing. We have excellent staff, and they thoroughly enjoy their job because they were there just ready, couldn't wait till it was their turn to see what was going on. And I so appreciate them. And I know it was a longer agenda. And I think it was because we had times when we couldn't meet, but it was fun. It was fun to be in there, and didn't even seem like a long meeting because we had so much to talk about. But I just want you to know that I appreciate you and your enthusiasm for what you do, and it shows.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Awesome. Great comments. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah. Thank you, sir, for a great report. Anyone else got coming in?
I'm good.
Oh, good job.
If I can just briefly comment, and I really didn't prepare anything, but I really appreciate all the work you guys did. I mean, wow, it must have been a great meeting like we were talking about. Finance Committee agenda is a lot shorter. We know how to handle our stuff real quick. So.
Yeah. Y'all got board stuff.
Yeah. You guys have to do all the work. We just pay for it. We just pay for it. But no, I wanted to, in all seriousness, comment about just a couple of things. I'm really excited about the overhire and the traffic enforcement. I think our police department does a great job. But I guess everyone has experienced someone going down their street too quick or whatever. So we get comments about that all the time. So I'm very excited about that. I think that'll be a valuable addition to the police department. And I've said for years, I think code enforcement's got to be like, I don't know how to say it, the toughest job around because a lot of us obviously want great communities and want our communities to look good and function good and be safe and all that. But that does require enforcement, and I know that can be a tough job. So I'm very excited about the new approach, and I think that'll be really beneficial for our town. When I think about what we can do as a council and a staff to make this place great. Of course, we always think about safety issues. We think about economic development. That's certainly always a priority. But having our neighborhoods be great places to live, be good livable places that are safe investments and safe places to live, I think is really job one for us, and just really excited about the direction that we're headed in there. So thank you, folks. And it goes without saying, we know the staff's unreal. So yeah, thank you.
It's important. So
thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Oh, my turn, right? Okay, with that, we'll move on to the Finance Committee.
All right.
Which is obviously much more exciting.
Well, you know, it's hard to follow.
Give it all you got.
Yeah.
Hit us with some numbers.
Yeah, here we go.
Shirt, it's green.
I tell you what, start out with the cigarette number and you can go from there.
Right.
No kidding.
Let's hear it.
No kidding. Light them up.
So we met a few hours ago and looked at the September financial statements. That puts us a quarter way through the fiscal year. So our expense categories, including personnel, which is our largest single category, are under budget thus far through the year, which is a really good thing. And kind of following the trend that we've seen through the end of the previous fiscal year and thus far into this year, our revenues are outperforming, especially our consumer-based revenues that we check on a daily basis or check on a monthly basis. A couple that I wanted to point out: personal property. We don't typically bill that until the spring, so we're already at 10% of that revenue number, which is really good. That means that we've had some supplemental billings that have come in, but really means that our delinquent tax collection efforts are coming to fruition, to have that at 10% before the billing even goes out. So I'm going to talk in a few minutes about some of our collection efforts that we work on that have proved to be fruitful, but to have that at 10%, 6 months before the billing is always a good thing. Kind of keeping up with pace, our state sales is about 2% over budget. Our parimutuel is 9%. Cigarettes is 40%. We just kind of take it month by month. Things are going well. Our meals tax is 10% over budget. I was telling everyone it wouldn't be, outside the realm to do 2.2 million in meals tax this year, which would definitely be a high water mark. So wanted to also talk about our interest earnings. In September, there was a Fed rate cut of a 1/4 point. All of our investment vehicles are tied to that Fed rate. So right now we're still earning in the 4.25 realm on interest earnings. So that means that at today's cash balances, we're still earning around $30,000 a month, a little over $30,000 a month on today's balances and today's interest rates. So the markets are pricing in 2 more rate reductions in October and December. So we'll see what happens with those. And then, of course, with the park and some other projects, we'll be drawing down cash balances. So we will be looking some point in the near future at lower rates, but also lower investment balance. So we'll watch those interest earnings. They'll come down a little bit as we spend money on capital projects. Wanted to discuss some of our tax collection efforts. We're getting ready to go into our first billing of the fiscal year, the fall billing. So outside of our just regular billing, we have a couple of avenues that help us with enhanced collections. One of them is called the Debt Set-Off Program. This is a file that we can submit to the state that allows us to essentially draw anything owed, any delinquent bills owed to the town from individuals' state tax returns. So there are a demographic of people that owe the town that don't get a tax return, don't get a state tax return. So typically we're not able to reach them through this. However, this year we had a one-time state refund of $200 per individual and $400 for those filing jointly. So we were able to run the same file on this group, and it actually netted just over $19,000 this year. So that's revenue and personal property that we otherwise would not have been able to collect through our typical efforts. So we didn't have that last year. We had it the year before, but it always proves fruitful when we've got a different file to go after. We talked a little bit about the DMV stop program. So this is something that we can set up with the DMV, and allows us to put holds on registration and titling of vehicles in order to get payments on delinquent taxes. We've got a contract in place, and we're waiting on the green light on that to get that started. We're hoping by the first of the calendar year. We talked about a skip tracing system that we use, which is essentially a computer system that helps us use limited information to help us find taxpayers that have a delinquent balance, that have moved out of town, that don't have a forwarding address on file. So that's actually, we're running all of our return mail through that process, and it's actually reduced our return mail by about 70%. So that software has proved to be very beneficial. Lastly, there's a software that Roanoke County recently started using, not a software, rather a service rather, that uses attorneys group out of Richmond to help collect on delinquent taxes. So that's been very beneficial to them, and I've been in talks with Kevin Hutchins about what that might look like for us, and how it has been for the county, and what that looks like for staff, and just collections overall. So they're still early in the process on that, and as I gain more information, I'll be back to talk to you guys about that, and we can decide if that's an avenue that we want to pursue for further collection efforts. Other than that, Kimberly Ramsey, some of you guys may know in my office, the deputy treasurer with the town, has submitted all of her work for her MGDT certification, which is Master Governmental Deputy Treasurer. She's done a ton of classes and tests to get to that point, and she's finally finished. So that information has been submitted. She probably won't get the award itself until they award the 2025 class early in the coming calendar year. So when she gets that, we'll definitely have her to council to talk about that award. But it's been it's a grueling and it's something that's incredibly beneficial to our office, but also takes a lot of dedication and commitment, and really proud of her for going through that process. And then I just touched on the fall real estate billing. That's going to be going out. We're hoping it'll hit mailboxes by the end of next week. So those will be out. That'll be our first major billing for the year. Something to keep an eye on. And then we walked onto the agenda at the beginning of the meeting, the discussion on the War Memorial bids, which have already been covered. But that was about all we talked about. Any questions?
Answer question, comment? Good job.
I want to say thanks again for the minutes and agendas of the meetings that we have. Thank you.
Absolutely. Megan had noticed that we had missed a motion and a second for the July financial statements at one of the meetings in August, I guess. So can we get two separate approvals, one for the July financial statements and then one for September?
I'll so move the July 31st financial statement.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign.
I make a motion to approve the September 30th financial statement.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Please signify by, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Nice.
Good job, and good job, Meg.
Yeah.
I must not
Yeah,
have.
thank you.
I don't know if that's.
See what happens?
Off the rails.
Yeah. I'm gonna give you an opportunity to repeat that, make sure Megan caught it.
Oh, yes, good job, thank you, and good job, Andrew. But yes, Megan, keep us in line.
I'll try.
Yep, keeps them in mind. Lots of good information, and I appreciate it. And one of the things I thought was really interesting is, and really great that Kimberly has worked so hard to get that.
The MGDT.
Yeah, so we look forward to presenting that to her. And he was talking about how thorough the classes are and how extensive. And of course, I think some of them was online, but a lot of them local. And as a matter of fact, some of the classes were over here in the Vinton Library. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So they're kind of all over the state to cater to the different localities. And while about half of them are available online, about half have to be done in person, and several of them. Roanoke's kind of a good hub for those because it's kind of centrally located. So there were a handful here in Roanoke that made attendance easy.
Yeah, and lots of work on her part.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Very exciting.
Also, I really appreciate the going after the delinquent taxes and all the different methods. That's interesting, and I like it. And it's not that you don't have anything else to do all day, but to go after that is something else on top of it. So I appreciate that.
Well, we ought to be good and rich. We go after all the taxes and tow 1,000 cars. We ought to be good. Like everybody's in a scrap yard. We ought to be doing good.
Yeah, really.
Thank you, Andrew, for all you do. I didn't mean to say that your meetings were boring. You and your staff.
Things feel different about that.
I know.
Yeah.
That's the truth. Yeah.
You and your staff.
You got to get a cup of coffee when you go in the door.
You and your staff have always done very good on audits and everything, which makes the town shine. So I appreciate you too.
Me too, very much. Great job, great job. Okay, with that, we'll move on to the town attorney. Jeremy, anything hot tonight?
Nothing.
As per usual, looking
Pressing
good.
at all. It's very good to have it that way.
Thank you.
I'm going to have to take lessons on making sure I don't, miss.
So I had an opportunity to meet Jeremy's colleague last week.
He did tell me that.
Yeah. And I don't think I'd been talking to him 30 seconds, and the subject immediately went to Jeremy's ties.
When he came in and he said, "Hey, I met Brad Gross," and I said, "What did he say about my ties?"
Oh, yeah, you're famous. You are famous. All right, we'll move on to the town manager report, please.
Just a couple of comments that we've covered most of our projects and such. Do want to thank Jeremy. Just an example, we had our bid opening at 2:00. He was texting me to make sure that, he was going to be able to help us out with the resolution because of the timing. When the agenda goes out on Friday, we didn't do the ribbon or the bid opening until today, so we had to turn that around very quickly between bid opening, finance committee, and town council. So appreciate his support. That kind of shows you sometimes how quickly we have to turn things around and him being available. So appreciate that.
That's awesome.
I want to just acknowledge, I think it was mentioned earlier, but I want to highlight the trick or treat event next Tuesday. I unfortunately will have to miss this one. I'm really looking forward to that every year, but I'm sure it'll be a fantastic event. It's been expanded, as you know, the hours. Downtown will be just
Scary.
Scary, all the goblins. So
Nice. Nice.
Wow. Appreciate all your efforts, all of you and all your staff, kind of just everybody pulling together. I just wanted to also draw attention to that we do not have a November 4th council meeting due to Election Day. However, we will be meeting the next morning at 8 a.m. for our council retreat for strategic plan. And just a reminder, I've always wanted to say this, your homework's due tomorrow.
Oh,
so if you haven't gotten that
it
done,
is. Okay.
Our consultant is just asking for some time to pull all that information together so that when we do have the retreat on the 5th, that he's prepared to kind of.
Mama, your homework's due tomorrow.
Thanks for reminding me, though.
Trust me, I've never gotten to say that. I've always been the one been told your homework's due.
I did mine today, but the end of it just said I can review. So I guess it.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll answer questions, right?
Yeah, I did mine. But I didn't. It says if you wanted to review it, I hit review it, but I didn't give any reviews.
Never hit submit.
I never got to the end because we tested it out. Anyways, we have a follow-up meeting with our consultants on Thursday, so we'll review it to make sure all the information is
I
available.
did mine the other day. I'm ready to go.
Just a quick
The only delinquent one. Okay, well,
Review, it's almost answered.
Okay. Cool. People did it, I think.
Well, hopefully it was easy to navigate. We didn't go all the way through it, but we tested a couple test questions just to make sure it was going to function right. But Mike is going to do his magic behind the scenes and kind of pull that information together. And I think it's going to be we've sent out the agenda. I'm looking forward to the day. We've got a good day of events for you, and hopefully we'll come out by midday with a good draft plan, or at least the makings of one. And so anyways, that's a fun process to do. Looking forward to it. That's all I have, unless you have any questions.
Okay, no, I don't have any, folks.
no, sir.
Oh, great. Thanks, sir. Appreciate that.
Sir.
Councilman Wiles, anything further?
No, I don't have anything other than great meeting. I'll second what Sabrina said with staff's enthusiasm behind their jobs. We're very lucky to have staff that we have and that they enjoy their job as much as they do.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not every single day, but the majority sounds like it is.
They were pretty pumped.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate those comments. Ma'am, anything?
I do. I wanted to thank staff, management for the pictures of progression that we get on certain things.
Yeah.
That is very nice to see what's going on. So I appreciate that. And also that day in that meeting, Megan had gone to a class and had to talk about us.
Oh, goodness.
Oh,
I
man.
bet that was painful.
I didn't want to put you on the spot, but it was
The minutes from
pretty
that
good.
meeting? I'd like to hear.
Can you tell them what
Minutes
they,
from that meeting? I'd like to hear what you said.
can you tell them what they said?
I can. Unfortunately, for most of the clerks that I met at the Clerk Academy, they had nightmare stories on their council, to the point that people physically fight. And when it was, and when it was my turn to share about my work family, I got the looks of just be quiet. So it was a.
You could have said most anything, though, and we'd look good.
Oh, goodness.
So yes, very proud to be with you all after what I learned.
Yeah, we're happy to have you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You bet. You bet.
And the one last thing, I think the Vice Mayor's going to say a few things too, but we got to go to the Power of Pink luncheon today. It was a very nice event. The speakers were excellent.
Yeah.
It was very well organized. And it was one kind of hiccup, and that was right in the middle of the speaker. We had to go out for a fire drill. So, but I'll let Lori tell more about the kudos of the staff that helped with that.
Yeah. Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Well, I'll start with that since Sabrina just was talking about it. Antonia that was her first major event with the Breast Cancer Foundation, and I really hope they were paying attention because it was really good. It was well organized. Everything was smooth. The fire drill was, gave everybody a little break. Luckily, it was nothing. We got to go right back in, but everything went smooth. The speakers were great. I was at a table with a Roanoke City Council member and the town manager, and they were talking well about the dogwood. So they were all excited about coming to Benton to the dogwood, and I think the town was represented well. Someone told me that on the way out. They said, looks like the town showed up today. So that was good. So it was very nice. And I also wanted to comment about the VML conference. One thing that really struck me also, like Megan said, you hear some horror stories, and we've got it really, really well here, staff, and everybody gets along, and we are like family, and very grateful for that. And also, I met a lot of people, and I won't remember their names. I won't remember all of their names, but I remember where they're from. So it's something like that. It's so nice. I mean, you represent well because they're going to remember. And so I hope we made a good impression on some other ones too. I didn't meet anybody that I was like, ugh. I mean, everybody was great, so it represents your hometown or your place. And I just think that's really nice. It was a good thing to go to, and I'm very glad I did. So.
Just one more thing. One of the speakers was actually the co-owner of Twin Creek, Andy Bishop.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, she did a great job.
She did a great job.
Yeah.
And handled the fire drill.
Yeah.
It was fine.
She did. Thank you, man. Anything further?
No, sir.
Okay. Sure.
Fall Festival was off the chain. We had, actually, I learned a little bit more this year about the Fall Festivals. As y'all know, Paige is the president of the chamber, and of course, kind of filled me in on things prior to the Fall Festival. But I had my 45th class reunion to do what Sabrina does a lot of times, a shout out to the Dogwood. If you ever have an event and you want to do it outside, they gave us the patio, they reserved it. We ordered a couple hors d'oeuvres. Everybody else ordered their own things right there on the outside towards the bar was concerned. But I talked to people that had gone to it, saw a bunch of people down there. So I think it was a great event. I did want to go back, and I know they're gone to the towing. So the reason I asked for that contract was because I did talk to one of the owners who I went to high school with, and he was telling me 30 minutes, but you said, thank you for speaking up, you said 20 minutes. So if we don't have but those two companies, and I refer back to when, as I told Lori a few minutes ago, when I was a volunteer fireman, and we now look at the rescue squad, when they're called out to respond, you know, our response time used to be three and a half, depends on what it was, three and a half minutes. So if it's just those two companies, and we didn't change our ordinance, then they could park their vehicle. Woods definitely could park theirs at Woods. I don't know where Region is. I don't know where they sit. Leave their home, get the tow truck and do venting. Now I understand, because you heard that one guy right here on the front kept talking. They also want to be able to do Roanoke County and Salem, but of course live in the town of Benton. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. We have strict guidelines, and that's why it's only two of them. They have to operate their business in town. They have to have a secured lot that's in town. That's why there's only two within our rotation. I don't know what other police departments that they represent within the Roanoke Valley, but that's our guidelines.
And I think Keith asked an excellent question. You know, you got an employee that lives in Salem that goes for one of these two companies. Well, I mean, he's not going, you know, he's going to be hard pressed to make it.
Well, right. But I mean, just like he said, if there's two companies and the driver lives in town, the company's in town, you don't have very far to go.
Yeah, go get the tow truck and then go to because town-wise, we know it's not 3.2 square miles. And I mean, you know, you can. So anyway, okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, can I add one more thing?
Absolutely.
Thank you to Mandy and Amanda for letting us borrow those balloons, and I've got them in my car.
All right. Okay. By the time we take turns on this and it gets to me, I just want to say ditto. Because I certainly agree the Fall Festival was a great event. Obviously our staff they're just awesome. I'll talk about VML just a little bit. But before I forget, I want to thank the police department for hosting, was the official name of it White Cane Awareness?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Yeah, so you guys are going to do that again, right?
I think they're going to try to make it an annual event.
Okay, great. Well, that sounds great. Maybe we can prepare for that. But I just caught the very end of it, and very dedicated folks. It was quite interesting. So thank you guys for doing that. Yeah, I wanted to mention VML too. We attended that, and a lot of it was really exciting. It's exciting to hear the great things that are going on in our state. A lot of really good things. But I heard so many horror tales. It's like, wow, you know, are you kidding me? What? I don't think I don't know if I should say it. I don't know if I could serve in office in some of those places. I mean, it heard some really sad things. But all in all, VML was really good this year. A couple of good classes that I really enjoyed. And I thought Roanoke City did a really good job with their host night events. So it's certainly worth attending. And I appreciate the town for sponsoring us, paying for that. And I also wanted to mention one other thing. We keep saying over and over how much we appreciate our staff, and that's certainly accurate. But sometimes it's really the small things that mean a lot, although this is a big thing. But as you folks know, I guess Donna puts together the birthday lunch, maybe with Megan, and I attended one this last week, and it was really neat, you know, to think that the town would think of you on your birthday month and all, and it was just a really good time of fellowship. So thank you, town, whoever did all that. Thank you, folks, for all that. It was really good.
Y'all leave 79 candles out, or what'd you do?
I'm waiting for the biggie. I was talking to the guy today, and he said, yeah, man, he said, I'm going to hit the big 4-0 next year. I said, great, we'll celebrate together. I'm going to double that now. Hit the big 8-0, yeah. Yeah, it was hard to blow out those candles. Anything else to come before council this evening?
No, I'm still stuck on, I can't get 45-year reunion out of my mind. I'm ready to go. 45 years.
I look pretty good for it, don't I?
Long time ago.
I'm pretty good looking, graduated in 1980, I think. Some of my classmates.
Oh, dear.
This might be a good time to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor, please signify by leaving. Thank you, folks. God bless you.
Thank you.
That's a
Sherry Bond.
That's a
Thank
shame.
you.
I gotta go pick up